Hey kiddos! So this week we are going to be looking a little bit more deeply at the elements of art, putting all those elements together and creating a foldable book. Let's get started. So your goals this week. Students will be able to identify the 7 elements of art. Students will design a foldable book showing each element, and students will demonstrate beginning skill with design and composition. What are the elements of art? Last week we briefly talked about one of them, which was line. But again, the elements of art are the basic building blocks used when creating works of art. They include line, space, texture, color, shape, value, and form. Rather than show you what each one is individually, I thought we would look at works of art and discuss where we see them. Now, this is another work by Vincent van Gogh, the same artist last week who painted Starry Night. Van Gogh is really cool because if we look at his work again, we see these really thick, bold lines, really skinny lines, we see wavy lines. He does a lot with line work in his artwork. Another element of art is shape. Shape can come in 2 forms. Shapes can be either organic, which means they don't have edges and sides the way geometric shapes do, like in this work by Pablo Picasso. And here we see that Picasso has taken all these people and turned them into these really weird geometric shapes. Like shapes you'd see in geometry. We compare that to Matisse's work over here, the parakeet and the mermaid. We see all these really cool, flowy shapes that are all different. None of them are exactly the same, and all put together to make this really colorful work of art. Do you see the mermaid? Another element of art is color. Now, color can be used in a variety of ways. Colors can be monochromatic, where we stick with one palette, like blues in The Old Guitarist by Picasso. This piece definitely has more of a sad, somber feeling, but it's made with different kinds of blues. When we compare that to this really bright installation by Gabriel Daw, he uses thread to create these really amazing works in museums that are bright and colorful. Another element of art is space. Now, space does not mean like outer space. Space is the ability to either make us feel like we can go into a work of art, or we can talk about positive and negative space, which we won't today. For now, let's just check out these 2 pieces, one by René Magritte, the other by M.C. Escher. Now, both of these works of art are on flat surfaces, but both of these artists find ways to make it feel like we can actually go into the art. René Magritte does it with all these floating men coming down from the sky. The ones closer to us are larger, the ones further away are smaller and lighter. It almost feels like we could go into this. We compare that to M.C. Escher. His work is always very interesting and kind of plays tricks in the mind. In this one, it looks like we are above this painting, or this illustration I should say, and we're looking from above down below to this scene at the very, very bottom. Another element of art is texture. C.J. Hendry, if you have not heard of this person, is a really talented Australian artist. This artist uses colored pencils to create these works of art that look like they actually are, things that have texture, so things that we could feel, things that are textile. So in this one, she uses colored pencils to create a wig. It almost looks like we can see all that individual hair texture. And in this one, she uses red colored pencils to actually draw something that looks like it's 3D paint coming off of this big piece of paper. It's pretty impressive. Another element of art is form. So we talked about shape. Form is the idea of making something go from looking 2D to 3D. So we see here, instead of seeing a triangle, a square, a circle, and a cylinder, there's no other way to describe that. A cylinder, we see a cone, we see a cube, we see a sphere, and again, 3-dimensional cylinder. The last element of art is value. And again, all these works of art will have more than one element in them. I'm just trying to show you examples of specific elements. Value is the idea of going from really, really dark all the way light, and all the shades that are in between. It's what takes us from having something like a circle to a sphere, or from making a shape and turning it into something that has form. Now, I realize we went through that pretty quickly, but you can go back to these slides once we start our foldable book. So let's put it all together. Let's get this started. So before we get started, you're going to need, for sure, a piece of paper. A pencil would be good. A pen of some kind would be good. And then if you have colored pencils, that'd be great. Or if you have markers, that would also work. I've got both. So please make sure you guys have something to add some color to your paper. So this first step is going to be really, really, really important. So please make sure that you pause the screen and make sure that your paper looks just like mine before we continue. So the first thing we're going to do is we are going to go ahead and fold our paper. So I'm going to fold it in half, one way. Really crease down those edges. I'm going to fold it in half again. And then I'm going to fold it in half one more time. And then I'm going to go ahead and open it up. When you're done, you should have 8 rectangular boxes all across from each other. This is the most important part. So please, again, pause and make sure yours looks just like mine. We're going to go through and we're going to number out our boxes. So down here in my first box on the bottom left, I'm going to have 3, 4, 5, and 6. All right. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my paper once I have 3, 4, 5, and 6, and I'm going to flip it upside down. Down here, where I have the rest of my boxes, 6, across from 6, is what's going to be my back cover. So I'm going to put BC, it's going to be the back of my book. Across from 5 is going to be, and next to BC, is going to be my front cover, or FC. Across from 4, and next to my front cover, is going to be the number 1. And finally, across from 3, and next to page 1, will be page 2. So again, pause this, make sure that yours looks just like mine. All right, so we're going to start designing our book. So the front cover is going to be our elements of art. The 7 elements. And you can design yours however you want. So just so you know what the elements are moving forward. Of, or you can copy mine. Art. And then I'm going to go through and I'm going to make sure that I have all 7 elements. So we've got line, we have shape, let's flip our paper over. We have value. We have texture. We have space. We have form, and let's save my favorite for the back. Because we have 7, we're going to have to use our back cover. And last but not least, we have color. Great. So from here, all you're going to do is you're going to decorate each of these based on what the element is. I'm going to go ahead and fast forward through this, but you can go ahead and take some time, check out the attachments I have for this, and really decorate this based on the different elements. So you can decorate yours as much as you want to. I do recommend, though, a good idea would be to just briefly write down stuff from the video that we had talked about what each element is. So for line, I wrote down that lines can be dotted, long, wavy, thick, thin, spiral, but obviously they can be more things. For shape, they can either be organic or geometric. For value, the trick with doing a value scale is getting your pencil, and we'll definitely practice this later on, and using the edge and pressing down hard, and then slowly letting go on pressure as you go. So you go from dark to light. The more you practice, the easier that one gets. Texture is the way that something looks like it might feel. So texture, you can think about hairy, slimy. Brick would be a texture as well. And again, this is just super fast. Space is the illusion that can make something look like it has depth. And again, I'm doing really fast sketches for the ones I'm not super excited about right now, just because we're going to revisit these later on. Form is when you make a shape look 3D, and obviously you can tell which one my favorite was, color. Okay, so now that we have done this, the most important part is cutting this. So again, please, 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 make sure that you are watching very carefully. We are going to cut. So we're going to fold our paper in half. So remember, we're going to fold right down here down the middle. And then we're going to make a couple of cuts. Our first cut is going to be right here. So again, this line right here where my page folds, I'm going to go ahead and make one cut. Just like that. Just one cut. And then, once I open it up, I'm going to make one more cut. And that's going to be between my front cover and my back cover. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold this and turn it into a book. So this is going to be on the front, so I'm going to go ahead and fold my front cover over like this. And then I'm going to make one more fold right here. So folding down that cover to 3, fold into 4, like an accordion almost. Fold back 5, fold in 5 and 6 together, and then color is going to be on my back. So now, when I open this, you should also put who wrote this. So, by Miss Rosas. So now, I have a book that I can open, line and shape, value and texture, space and form, and last but not least, color. If you want to take a video of yourself going through your book, that'd be awesome. Once you know how to make this, it's really easy to use this for other projects, and I hope that you're able to use this for our future projects that will be definitely using the elements of art.